Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. The town of St. Paul respectfully acknowledges it is situated within Treaty 6 territory as well as the Alberta Métis Nation District 12, the homeland of the Métis, Dene, Saulteaux, and Cree people, and part of the trading route and gathering place for other Indigenous nations. Okay, Council, you have somebody to move adoption of the
I
agenda?
can move the agenda as presented if there's no additions.
Okay, with no additions? Okay, moved by Councilor Noel, all in favor? It's carried, and you have a copy of the previous minutes. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, could someone move?
I can move the previous.
Moved by Councilor Fodness, all in favor? It's carried. Okay, we're going to number 4, public hearing, and we have Alex Potvin from Green Amp Solar.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor and Council. While Alex joins the meeting and catches up with the audio here, I'll do just a little bit of background. Alex Potvin is joining us this evening representing Green Amp Solar, and Alex and I have been working on a few different initiatives throughout the community and what might be a best fit as a starter project for the town of St. Paul as we proceed into the thoughts and idea of alternative forms of energy. So with that, Alex has a presentation and proposal that he'd like to go over. And this evening we're discussing the Iron Horse campground location. So welcome, Alex, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen, for the introduction. You guys can hear me well?
Yeah, we can, yes,
Awesome.
thanks.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so no, I'm glad to be here, or virtually here, able to present this proposal. Like Stephen mentioned, we've been going back and forth a little bit over a couple different sites. So today we decided to present a proposal that is kind of it's a really good fit in terms of payback, but it's not too big of a system, and the Iron Horse really fits that scenario, and there's also a ton of space there. So the proposal I have here is a high-level proposal. More and more details can be added upon request, but I just wanted to go over the top details here. So I'll try to keep it around the 12 to 13 minute mark and then leave about 7 minutes there for questions. Okay. So right off the bat, total investment for a system of this size, and this system would actually be able to offset about 85 to 90% of the annual power bill. Okay, so that investment size would be $188,000. All right, so the net cost after the incentives, so there are some incentives that are available right now, and the net cost would be $159,000. Of course, those are pre-GST costs. Year one savings, we're looking at about $17,500 per year in savings, and that's the first year. So as the cost of power continues to rise, well, those savings also continue to go up. Your break-even point on an investment of this size, you're looking at 7.4 years. Okay, and then the 25-year net benefit is just under $900,000. So we have the site here. I'm gonna open up this page. Okay, so this is the Iron Horse campground, and I came out, did a site assessment, and I looked at kind of routing and the best placement for putting the solar panels. And Steve and I discussed that, putting them to the east of the pond here. Of course, they won't be inside the fence; they'll be moved over outside that fence there. But we can line them up, do 4 rows of 26 panels for a total of 104 solar panels. So we can have a look here. All right, so this is actually to scale. So this would be the true size of the setup. So it's quite large. But the important part is there's actually a lot of room to continue to grow the array. So if ever we were to add on to the site in terms of consumption, additional stalls, any sort of extra activities on this plant that use more power, we can add on to the system, no problem. Any questions regarding the layout?
Why would we not go north of that building instead of coming across the whole campground? Why wouldn't you have just headed north from and put it along the back side of the campground? The only reason I'm asking that, I know we've had proposals for putting a roadway in there at one point.
Right. Yeah, the reason for that was after discussing with Stephen, is determined there might be additions that are going to be going on the backside there. And if that's the case, we didn't want to block any future infrastructure. However, I can be flexible and we can move this wherever you guys want, right?
I just look at if you want also additions for the power, you can go a lot more. Eventually you could be powering the town if you wanted in that area.
You're saying, Councillor Noel, immediately north of the
Over,
shower house,
Yeah, of the shower house.
but it would need to be narrow, like a narrow
Yeah. corridor.
installation.
but people do park there. They do. When they're playing on the soccer pitches, they do park along that fence. There's a lot of traffic actually.
Yeah, and my only concern where they're placed now is the road spray in the winter with the salt and stuff, if that has an effect to our solar panels, if we were gonna go this way.
Okay.
And the
enough.
beautification as well, that's not my other issue.
Yeah, and then if they do widen the highway, you know, down the road, that if they might also be close to the highway.
Sure. Good.
Well, location for me is, it's not a huge issue. You know, if you guys want to move these north, we can. But I think for the main points here is what the system will look like, warranty, and then the payback, and then the location. We can discuss that as well. So, okay, so what we'd be installing. So, like I said, we'd be installing 104 solar panels. These panels are LONGi solar modules. Okay, so LONGi is one of the biggest brands recognized worldwide. What's important is their warranty. So they have 12-year standard product warranty on all of their products. They also have an additional 30-year power performance warranty. So what that warranty is covering is not only are the panels going to be producing for the next 10, 20, but actually 30 years. And they're warranting that the panel's going to produce at least 84.7% in 30 years from now. That's really important when we look at longevity, right? So the system's paid off after 7.4 years, but you're still getting an additional 22 years of earnings off of the system, right?
So what's the difference
the inverters that
between,
we
what's the difference between product warranty and performance warranty?
Yeah, so product warranty covers any deficiencies with the product itself. So say there's a failed solar cell or the framing of the panel were to break, anything like that, right? Whereas the performance warranty is monitoring, okay, the panel there's nothing wrong with it physically, all right? Is it still outputting what it should be outputting? So those would be the two differences. Yeah.
Thank you for clarification.
Okay. The inverter in this case, the inverter is really what connects the solar panels to the electrical grid, right? It's able to take that DC power inverter to what the grid uses. We'd be using a 60 kilowatt unit, okay? Doesn't really matter too much what that means, but what's important to take from this is the 60 kilowatt unit actually allows us to install an additional 50% onto this system in the future without needing to upgrade any electrical lines, the inverter, anything like that. Okay, so we can go up to 150 panels, no problem, right? And we can just continue adding on to this inverter. So we're building in that infrastructure now that can handle a lot of solar going forward. As the site continues to grow, we can then add on to it. Okay, so it's saving down the road. Rapid shutdown, so grid compliance, everything there is required. Okay, racking, what's important to take from there is everything gets installed on screw piles, right? So we mount everything on 10-foot screw piles. They're not going anywhere. Okay, the racking itself is aluminum, gonna last a long time.
Question.
Just a quick question here. Budget wise, I think you might need to adjust the soil conditions. I'm assuming you haven't done a geotechnical report in town, that area? No, okay.
No. Okay. Are you saying the ground is very hard?
The opposite, yeah. So you're probably, like in comparison to our current project, they're 17 feet, I believe, for solid bearing soil. So just might need to be a kind of a price adjustment in that department based on our soil.
Okay.
Just kind of food for thought there on those.
Perfect. No, I appreciate that. I'll definitely, we can discuss that for sure. So, okay. Workmanship. Our workmanship in-house is 10-year standard on all of our installs as well. Okay. So what it costs, so we broke it down here. Okay, the solar array itself, $153,000, and the electrical. So to get the wire out to the array, it's a very expensive cable. So $35,000 for that cable. Okay, plus the disconnects and tying into the existing electrical setup that's there in the building. Right. So total installed price with GST would be $197,000. Okay, so let's look at the payback and how did we determine a 7.4 year payback? All right, so the total installed price, like I said, $188,000. So right off the bat, we'd be able to claim the clean electricity ITC. Okay, so it's a 15% refundable tax credit. So right off the bat, we get a $28,000 refundable tax credit. Okay, so your net capital cost, you're looking at $159,000. Then your power bill today, is $16,336. Okay, so I added up all the last 12 months power bills. And then the power bill with solar, we'd be looking at just under $2,000 a year if we were to factor in solar. Okay, so your bill savings, you'd be looking at $14,403 per year just off the power bill. How are we able to save that much? Okay, so when it comes to solar in Alberta, and when it comes to the grid in Alberta, you guys are actually paying quite a bit towards demand and transmission distribution fees, right?
Yep.
We have what's called in Alberta solar club rates. Okay, and solar club rates allows you to sell all the excess power back to the grid at 35 cents. Okay, so by selling back your excess power to the grid, as long as you're considered small microgen, which in your case you are, you're able to export all that power back and you will get a 35-cent credit. We're not actually able to, offset without the 35 cents, sorry, we would not be able to offset the retail rate and the transmission and distribution. However, we're going to earn such a large credit with this 35 cents that we will be able to offset the retail rate, transmission, and distribution and be left with only a $2,000 power bill at the end of the year. Okay, so it makes a very big difference there.
So at
Questions on solar club rates?
what point does the 35 cents go away?
Yes.
Good question. So 35 cents is paid out by, first, most people ask me, why are you paying 35 cents, right? Not actually coming from me. So the Alberta Utilities Commission is the one that states that whatever your power rate is what you earn when you sell back to the grid. Okay, so that's provincially ran and provincially monitored. And then because of that, there's a program that got launched over 12 years ago called Solar Club. Solar Club was rebranded 9 years ago, so that name is a little bit newer. The program's been around a long time. And what it does, it's allowing people to sell back at 35 cents. The program's been around for 12 years. It's monitored and looked after by the provincial government. And the provincial government is actually the one that is paying out those credits of 35 cents. Okay, the credits come from AESO, Alberta Electric System Operator, and they're the ones that would actually be forwarding that credit to you. So right now, if you were to look at all the other provinces, not all of them, but Saskatchewan, British Columbia, those are publicly ran electrical infrastructures. In Alberta, it's privately owned. Because of that, Fortis gets their piece of the pie, the retailers get their piece of the pie, et cetera, et cetera. So all these fees really add up, right? So by going with a solar club provider, getting that 35 cents, you're able to offset that entire power bill, and you'd be left at the end of the year with $2,000. Okay, so how long is the 35 cent going to be around for? I can't guarantee it's going to be around forever. It's anything, it's politics, right? So right now the government has allowed it for the last 12 years. They could take it away, but there's also no talk of them taking it away.
So there's no limit on how much we can provide then? That it switches, that's what I was asking.
The micro.
Yeah, at 35 cents, if all of a sudden we're providing over the said limit, does it drop to 10 cents or is it 35 cents for whatever we provide?
It's 35 cents for whatever you provide. So
And there's no,
when you go solar, you sign a microgeneration agreement with ATCO, okay? And that agreement is grandfathered in for the life of the system. So if you were to look at your consumption graph here, I'm just going to zoom in a bit. Okay, so this graph shows your consumption versus your production on a 12-month basis. All right, so in orange here, or in light red, your consumption over the last 12 months, and then in yellow is what the system is estimated to produce, right? So if we look at January, February, March, April, May, all the way to July, you're actually going to produce more power than you're consuming. Come August through December, you're going to consume more power than you're producing. So from January to July, you're going to be on a 35 cent rate. If we look at a month like April, for example, you're going to produce about 6,500 kilowatt hours more than what you're consuming, if we did the math on that, you'd be looking at a credit that month of, $2,200, $2,300. That gets applied to the bill, and then the credit gets carried forward for the next year or for the next months, right? So in
Alex,
the winter months,
sorry,
Yeah.
Alex, I'll just take this moment to jump in quickly. This graph
Okay.
explains why the Iron Horse Campground is such a good fit for a solar option, because it's opposite of most facilities. If you take a big user, for example, in the winter time, in the winter months, take an ice arena or something, it would be opposite of this. We would be consuming a massive amount of power over and above what we're actually able to produce. This system, because we're not consuming anything, it's still producing credits in those winter months. Okay, thanks, Alex.
So if we doubled this system in 5 years, we double our system, the size of it out there. We're still gonna be getting paid 35 cents? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah. As
You
long
like-
as you,
you
as
like-
long as you stay under that threshold of whatever the microgen threshold is, Alex.
150 kilowatts.
Right.
So you're way under that.
Okay, that's,
So if you went with the 150 panels, then you'd be making that much more money and a quicker return, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And we are allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
that's what I want to make sure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hop in here real quick. You can only offsets. So if we look at all of your yellow graphs here, your production, okay, so the estimated system production, if you add those all up and then you added up all the red bars or the orange bars there, okay, we're gonna produce 103% of your last 12 months consumption. Okay. So the yellow bars would just be a little bit bigger. We can't just add on, 200% of what the site is using. Okay. So it's ATCO will only allow us to go up to 105%. Okay.
Okay, I knew there had to be a threshold, that's what I was trying to get out.
105% of what your usage is allows you to stay within that microgen threshold, which is why the system is built to the size that it is.
Yeah.
If you were to have a solar farm, for example, which is, I think, kind of what Mayor Anderson is alluding to, you fall into a different category altogether.
Yep.
You're not
That's what I was
part
trying
of
to
the
get at,
solar
was-
club rates. Yeah.
But if we put more things at this facility, at this grounds, and require more power, then we can up our solar panels to accommodate
Correct.
the.
If
the
you were to
usage.
up your consumption, that we were only producing 80% of what we're actually consuming, you could add more panels to get yourself back up to
Up to
100,
150 roughly.
105.
105%.
105%. So
150 panels.
So if there was more demand for RV stalls, if we put 2 more rows in
That's
there,
right.
we could up. Okay.
Currently, we're not including the Union Station next door, right?
2 separate sites.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 different site IDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not much usage there anyway. At Reunion, there's
Yeah.
some light bulbs,
Yeah.
pretty much. And some in the kitchen. Okay, sorry, Alex.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. And I'm just gonna touch on the solar club. So like I said, on an annual basis, we're at 100%. Okay, but if you look at April or May, you're at like 600%, right? And it's that extra percentage where you're selling back at 35 cents. And then during the August, September, October, November, and December, you would then roll down to a low rate, right? And right now the low rate's sitting at 5.9 cents. So it's lower than what you guys are paying for power right now anyways. Okay. So Solar Club allows you to go between the 2 rates so that you're not paying this high rate when you're using more power than what you're consuming. Okay.
Makes sense.
Or producing, sorry. Any questions on that?
Just a quick comment. I'm on part of the solar club, and when we start consuming more than we produce, it automatically drops to the lower rate. It's not something we have to do. It
It's built into your
part,
system.
part of the club. It just
It automatically.
automatically drops.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you just want to make sure that you go with the solar club provider. Any solar club provider will do that, but not every retailer has the automatic rate switching. So, but that's all part of the sign up. Like we hope everybody gets set up properly, right? So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it's automatic, so you don't even have to think about it. Okay. And then there's also carbon credits. Okay, so carbon credits. Are you guys familiar with carbon credits? How that works? Yeah, okay, so you're able to capitalize on that. So because you're producing green electricity, you can earn the carbon credits or carbon offset credits, which allows you to sell back to programs. So estimated $3,000 a year there. and you would be looking at a $17,500 a year saving in the first year. All right, so that's how we calculated your 7.4 year return on investment. Lastly, a little bit about GreenAmp. Okay, so the installers, we do everything in-house. We don't contract anything out. Licensing, right? We are licensed across the province, across Canada actually. Red Seal electricians in-house. Okay, so WCB, not a problem. We've covered up to 5 million liability insurance. So we have everything we need to be able to do this work. All right. Everything that we do is also permitted. So we get everything permitted through the municipality. We do that. We'd also get any engineering done that we need to do. And then we do all the applications with ATCO. Okay. So in terms of timeline, we'd look at confirming the numbers, the site assessment. I've already done the site assessment. So this quote is firm, right? The price that I've provided here today is firm, unless we wanted to move the array to a different location. We just have to make sure that it's within the distance, but it's a firm price. Okay. Contract and engineering. So then we get involved with the engineers. We have them look at the layout, the racking, screw piles, all that stuff. And then we submit the utility approval. ATCO's pretty good to deal with, especially on small microgen. So we would, if everything went to plan, you know, I'd say probably a 3 to 6 month. I know it's a big window, but 3 to 6 months from start to install. Okay. The only hang up there would be ATCO at the end of the day. All right. Like I said, high level overview of what solar could look like. Do you guys have any questions? Anything I didn't answer? I'm sure you do.
Okay, Councillor Rosachov.
Yeah, thanks for this, Alex. It's exciting, I think, for our community to get going on this. One thing that struck me here is ticketed and permits and Red Seal and masters and stuff. I've been involved with quite a few solar setups, and that definitely isn't common. So I'm not sure if that's a provincial thing or just in-house what you guys are doing. So to me, there's a lot of merit seeing that the electrical part is taken care of and permitted, and because this stuff is dangerous if not done right. Just a couple things that was touched on here. Security on these systems. Have you had theft? I know I've had customers with solar that have been having some physically panels removed. Do we have anything in place for security and safety if these are exposed there? That's a very public area with campground and fish pond. So are these going to be safe and non-accessible, I would guess, and as theft proof as we could make them, I guess? Is that into the plan?
Alex and I have.
Yeah.
I'll just start off, Alex. We've not had any discussions around security or theft, or I've not even asked Alex what he's kind of seen in the industry for those types of things. But Alex, feel free, chime in with whatever your experience has brought your way.
Definitely. Yeah, so in terms of security, an easy solution if you wanted to would be to, oops, just put it back a second. You know, you could always look at fencing it in within the, there we go, I'm just gonna zoom this in. You know, we could always look at extending this fence or adding another fence, you know, fencing people out. At the end of the day, though, if somebody wants to hop the fence to get in there, they will. In terms of safety, everything will be CSA approved. The cables will be protected, right? So we don't have to worry about that. It's just like any other electrical switch on the property, though. Somebody could tamper with it and get hurt, right? So everything that we install, though, is lockable, can be locked out. But it's really, at the end of the day, no different than any of the other breaker panels out there. Somebody wants in there, somebody wants to, you know, mess with the system, they can, right? In terms of somebody stealing a panel, I've never had that happen, right? And I think too, here being inside the town, it's a little bit more secure than being out in the country somewhere away from, you know, any cities or people like that, right? So I could be wrong in saying that, but I'd be surprised if somebody came and stole something. At the end of the day, if somebody came and stole a bunch of panels, at that point it'd probably go through insurance or, you know, pay the difference for us to come install the panels back on, right? So it's just like anything. Fortunately, there's theft. We're not going to make it easy for people to steal, but if somebody wants in there, they're going to get in there.
Yeah, and then just the view from the back there. They're probably galvanized or aluminum type racking. I'm assuming on the rear of everything. Just
Yeah,
kind of wondering a view from the campers there, if there's going to be any kind of glare would be my concern facing, reflecting there.
Yeah.
If that's
I don't think, not on the backside.
Oh, glare? No. So this
No.
is actually what they look like, the design. So this would be the racking that we would use. I was hoping that they had a picture of the backside, but there we go. This is the exact
And
backside.
it's,
So
the sun
glare,
can't
if there's
hit
any
that.
glare, it would hit down. It would
Yeah.
go down towards the ground, right? The angle that it's coming in at.
okay. Yeah, the racking was my question. I guess it's nice to see that 3D rear view there. So thanks for that.
Yeah, so this is GMX racking. The racking's made in Canada. The components to the racking are obviously brought in, but it's a Charged Solar brand, so Canadian company, which is great. And we use this racking all over. It's super. It's great. It's solid, quick to install, easy to install. Aluminum, lasts forever, right? And it's rated for high wind locations, which is really important.
Which is St. Paul.
Yeah.
After seeing what happened, Alex, on the weekend, are tariffs gonna play any part in this price quote?
Sorry, say that again.
After seeing what happened on the weekend with the United States, are tariffs gonna play any part in this price quote? Meaning, will it change possibly?
Yeah, no, we won't have any issues with that. So the components that we bring in are, most of it actually comes in from China, right? So our suppliers here in Canada, the panels, the inverters, they're all Chinese companies, right? And I'm saying that in a good way too. I've been able to visit some of these factories and never seen anything like it. So very, very well made products and very, very nice factories. Yeah.
And the only other thing, I'm 100% for the project, but site location, I still have an issue with. But that's it.
Hey, Councilor Barnes.
Thank you for your presentation. My only question is, what's the insurance cost to the town for insurance to have on these panels?
That's not anything I can answer right now. Alex, do you have
Like
a bit of an idea on what, like insuring an asset like solar?
Stephen, ask Councilor Ritchie. Did your insurance go up?
No, it didn't. Not on the house, but this is a whole separate,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it works on something like this.
Yeah, so like you said, I've never had a client's insurance go up on their house. On bigger agricultural sites, I would recommend that you do reach out to the insurance. Right? Do you guys currently have insurance on the Iron Horse site, the facilities there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would wonder if they would be able to, build it into an umbrella or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we are investing into an asset that we would want to make sure is insurable and insured. So I'm sure there would be a premium increase of something, but I'd have to run that by our providers.
That's it. Councilor Ritchie?
No, thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions, but I have been a owner of solar panels since October of last year and part of the solar club. And our last month, instead of getting a bill, we got a credit of $362, I believe.
Perfect.
And I can see with a setup like this that we would it would be very good for revenue for the town.
Councilor Bristol?
Mine was, thanks Alex for the presentation, it was really good. My concern is, I guess, was like the glare question, but it was more to do with the front, like if we were to ever, sort of contemplate changing it to the north of the building, the soccer fields are pretty close to that proximity, and I would just worry that there'd be solid glare, that the kids that are maybe in net, goalie, or whatever else, that would actually get the glare off of the solar panels itself from the angle of the sun hitting it and
But there's no
hitting back.
fields there.
I know, but for the fields to the west of the building.
They'd have to look
If
towards.
the location was to be moved.
Oh, for you to move it, yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying the word Norm kind of suggested. I think that I'd worry that there'd be some.
I
glare
just
off.
suggested north, I didn't say by the soccer
Oh,
fields, that
okay.
was thrown at me.
Okay.
I would rather go the other way, but
Oh yeah, you're talking more around just north of the campground itself.
yeah,
more so.
exactly, that's.
So,
Yeah, I think
oh, go ahead,
you
Alex.
know what? If I wouldn't worry too much about the glare.
No.
Okay, from the back side, it's coming in the back. It's not going anywhere from the top side, unless it was pointed straight up at a 90 degree. right, and comes straight out, then you'd see some glare. But the other thing is during the summer too, that sun, when the kids are playing soccer, that sun is so high.
And
Okay.
if they play soccer more at nighttime, so that the glare would be probably shooting off the other way to the east.
And if they're playing soccer at nighttime too, during the summer, the sun is setting
Yeah.
on the west, and it's
Right.
actually northwest, right? So
Right.
it'll be behind the panels, if
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
It's not a concern of mine for that. No.
Okay, Stephen.
Maybe, so I'll touch on location a little bit and maybe provide some justification as to why we're choosing this area. Now, we did have some consideration for north in a more unused, futuristic plan, I guess. So if council's aware, everything that's kind of shaded gray, that's just a gravel area. That's where we pile snow in the wintertime. There's a stockpile of clay, and it's included as area within our north area structure plan. The reason we chose closer to the Iron Horse Trail and adjacent to the pond is that it's virtually finished space, unused green space. So we're trying to blend these types of things into green spaces so that they're not looking industrial. They're not looking like we need to go out and hide these things in an unused space. I think we'd actually be doing ourselves a detriment by putting anything to the north right now, because there could be road plans that connect 53rd Avenue going north into our 106 acres. So the justification, at least from an administrative perspective, is to blend these types of things into an already green finished space.
So my argument back to you would be, we talked about actually putting a road there. Remember when we
Where
had
the panels are?
Yes,
We had a,
we had a presentation,
we had
yeah.
a presentation where there would be a road coming from the campground
With the
to the
trail.
to the trail.
Who
The
had
trail
that
group.
discussion? Because Stephen did not have that discussion.
That was part of that plan.
It was online, we were online, all online. And it was to do with the Lakeland Trail Association.
But you know what?
It wasn't a road, it was just an entrance coming off of the.
It was, but it was a path to the campground, straight through where those panels
Yeah,
are.
but see,
If there's a road established already, why would you need another path to the campground?
They wanted to have,
Well,
so it wasn't,
But-
more flow,
But
easier.
with that being said, you're worried about theft, you just made it easier to steal.
Yeah,
You put an access in on a quad and.
So-
no, but I'm just saying that,
Yeah,
Alex, if
we're
you
talking
could,
about future planning.
if you could zoom in on your concept,
That's all.
I think there's.
and if you were
I'm not
to
making this up.
estimate,
No, you're not,
if you were to estimate
but what's the
the
chance of that?
Well, that's it.
council, let's just focus in here. If we could estimate the width between the trees and the solar array, what do you think would be left?
Yeah, so let me just put these right up against the fence there. So
Probably
use
not
a
enough for
driller.
Can,
Yeah, so I would say 10 feet.
Yeah.
can those solar panel rows be closer together so that we could accommodate more in that space, Stephen?
Could they
if we
be,
if we grow
oh,
our-
like more, instead of 4 rows, put 5, but narrower?
Well,
How many more panels
I
can we
want
put
to,
there?
if there's enough room for like 6 rows of that would be great, because if we do extend the RV, then we will need that extra. So I'm just curious if we could,
I'm looking at future growth. How
Yeah.
many more panels can you add there?
how many more panels can
Just
we
want to
add?
show you.
You would go,
That's what we're asking.
Yeah,
Right, that's what you're asking.
yeah, but if there's 7 rows of panels in the future, is there enough space for that?
we would go,
Yeah, so
sorry, Alex.
I've actually got the future expansion plan here.
Of course you do.
I wouldn't expect any less.
Take us 7.5 years.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, so there we go. We can add that extra row on here, and I even made this row a little bit bigger so we could split this in half, etc. The reason why they're spaced how they're spaced is if we go any closer, the front one will shade the next one.
Okay.
Right, and then we're losing production. So they're going to be about 12 feet tall at an angle, plus however high we want to put the pile. So typically we put it at 2 feet, so we're looking at about 14 feet tall. And then multiply that by 3, so we want about 45 feet between each row.
So then our
Okay, so
discussion
now-
with the Iron Horse campground, what our staging area is kind of gone now because we want to extend the parking that way. So I'm still struggling with normal.
This
on
is
that location.
still 7.5 years and you're saving,
Yeah,
I have no problem with the savings of it and all that part. There's not
Yeah,
an issue
I'm
at
fine.
all at all. I've seen it over at our Polaris Arena. We have to build everything all together and then we have no room to do expand. And I don't want to see that happen here. We have a chance not to make it happen, and that's why
so
I'm
on
saying.
that,
what I'm
that
saying.
piece,
Yeah,
what can we
and that's-
expand to? What can we do to expand in that piece? You know, I'm just trying to put it into
oh,
perspective.
and then my
What
other
can we
concern
expand?
is if the highway gets widened to a 4-lane, then
No, they can't come into our turf.
That's all my concern is.
No, I'm just saying, what are we gonna do with that piece? You can't expand the fish pond.
Expand more.
Is there, so I'm just speaking internally here, Alex, is there a concept drawing for this area that,
It was in
council,
it was in, she did a presentation to us.
It was a slide, it was
It was a slideshow.
online, we were online.
online
yeah.
back in June.
is it with Mary Ann? would be
Mary Ann
okay?
was there and,
Okay. So I think what I'll do, Alex, I'll try to get my hands on this concept plan for an expansion of everything that's south and east of the pond. And then we can kind of circle back and see if maybe if this is the best location, maybe there's another location we can consider.
Definitely.
I think we're probably arguing the same thing. We're all worried about what the future holds. So we'll keep that in mind, Alex and I, when we're designing anything, especially for expansion. The one thing that I guess the one note that I do have on expansion, if we were to add more, I guess I'll call them rows of campsites, we could potentially put them there on the south, but I think we could also. Did you and I talk, Alex, about putting another array to the north if we needed to expand north? Or was it
Yeah,
all?
so we could. I don't recall talking about that actually, but
Okay.
we could definitely expand north if you wanted to. I think that was originally what I had thought is why don't we put it north? You had mentioned we might be adding on to that north section. Let's keep it on the south side here.
Okay.
And I think it's a good look. But we definitely can add north. The good
Okay,
news is we would be running a 400 amp service up to the array. So if you ever did want to add, some sort of big load out here, you could, right? So you do have that service in this area now.
okay, Alec, what is the distance on the north side of the pond to the in that grassy space? What is that distance?
Right here, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We were looking at from the fence,
From there to there, yeah. So
33 feet.
So what if you lined up your panels along that unused piece of nothing? And you still have the option for the future?
So there's lots of space there too.
You've got a lot of space that's doing absolutely nothing there.
The only thing is that you have people renting those stalls because it overlooks the pond. You're gonna go put
Well, there's a
panels in
fence
front of
there.
it.
Well,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
that's why I'm really trying to protect that pond, is what I'm trying.
Well, you can, in that piece there on the side, the east side is, nobody looks at anything there. It's unused.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Definitely could. Just keep in mind they are, they're about 12 feet, 14 feet tall, so.
Maybe 12. It's pretty sloped there, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested in playing around with the concept to make sure it makes sense for everyone.
And to work with the Iron Horse staging area.
You just asked Mary Ann, they were doing a community, so they came to St. Paul, Bonneville, Cold Lake, they were doing all that.
Yeah.
Try to do
Did this.
staging area improvements is what it
Yeah.
is.
If there's a concept design, that would be really handy to see. Even if it's just like this, just fairly basic with an aerial view. I guess I don't want us to get too stuck in the weeds. It sounds like we're in favor of moving in a direction like this. Location can be ironed out. Alex, I guess my question, the installation costs or the proposal is the proposal, but what would you need, I guess, if we were to
Cheaper.
magically have these dollars available and council provided a motion to proceed? What would you need right away in order to start the interactions with ATCO? Because this is all hoping that ATCO says, yeah, we've got the grid capacity there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for a site like this, I wouldn't be too worried. It's not like it's the waste management treatment plant where it's a massive system, right? ATCO would be okay with this, but we typically do a 25% deposit. So we'd start all your permits, we'd lock in all your materials, buy everything so that we're ready to go.
Okay.
And then we would land the product on site before we do the install, and at that time we would ask for the second 25% deposit. And then we complete the entire install, get everything turned on, commissioned, up and running, and only after that we would do the remaining 50%.
Got it. Perfect.
Usually, what's the time frame with ATCO?
Yeah, so that's the one that when it comes to small scale commercial and residential, so small MG, it should be, let's say 2 months, 2 to 3 months. However, I've seen it take longer than that, up to, 3 to 6 months. That's where I kind of have that timeline extended. And in some cases, honestly, for commercial size solar, it can take up to a year. So because we are under that small scale microgen, right? The first step is getting that application in. We're under the 150. We fall into that small scale. So I would be pushing to have this installed, early November if we started now, right? We'd be able to get the infrastructure in place, everything. And that would be if everything fell into place properly in terms of permitting, ATCO, everything like that. If there's any hiccups with ATCO, then we get winter, and then it becomes difficult to transduce screw pals and all that stuff, right? So, timeline, like I said, if everything goes well, we'd be able to do it this fall. If things don't go well, it would be early spring.
I guess I do have one last
Actually,
question.
go ahead.
Sorry. Grass cutting. What's it like for customers needing to maintain around these installations?
Yeah, you definitely won't be able to get like a ride-on mower in this,
Weed whack.
in behind and everything. But if you did do the ride-on mower all around it, everything like that, and then you just weed whack behind it, that's fine. The grass isn't going to grow as much back there anyways. It doesn't get a ton of sun. I have seen some clients have actually put down rock beds underneath so the grass doesn't grow, right? And it has a nice look to it, right? Some people just leave it, grass, etc. So there's options that you can do.
That's, yeah, many people go because nothing grows really well there. It looks nice and clean and low maintenance, zero maintenance essentially.
Yeah, just kill those
Once
plants,
it's-
it'll be good.
All right, any other questions? So Alex, you already went over my question at Glen here for the timelines, and I really like your presentations because you explain everything in detail, and that's what's impressive about it. So I think, like Stephen said, I think there's interest here, so we're gonna let council take a good look at it, and you and Stephen stay in the communication lines. That'd be appreciated.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you guys need any more details on anything, just reach out. Steven might have it, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Do you guys have this document? Was this shared among everyone?
It's actually for the public
to
to
see
see too, so you might get more calls.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, there is phone number and phone and email are on there, so feel free to reach out with any questions.
One last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so one last thing, what angle are these at? Degree?
These ones will be 45 degrees.
45, okay.
I have another question too.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Stephen.
Alex, I'm sorry, and I should have asked you this in person, but regarding air traffic, have you run into issues with proximity to airports?
Not for something like this.
No.
They're fixed. They don't move. I see what you're saying, maybe the reflection, but
Yes.
I have not run into any issues like this. We've done a lot of installs out by Reef Bar, and there's the Reef Bar airport out there,
Okay.
and we haven't had any development issues
Oh, good.
in
Okay.
that regards. So
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, Alec. Thank you again.
Would this fall under
Appreciate
Alberta
it.
transportation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have a good night.
So they'd have to
Thanks,
get
Alec.
permission for
You as
that
well.
too?
Thank you.
If you want to, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, we'll carry on, thank you. We'll have
presentation.
another discussion on this, Stephen, I guess.
Yeah, so we could simply accept Alex's presentation as we have it today, or council could choose to give me direction to take this
Pursue it.
further, get hard budget numbers, see what funds, if any, are available in budget 2026, or are we
Is any of this good with green?
FCM?
Yeah,
So right now, currently, there are no offsetting grants
Okay.
for solar installation, regardless if you're even personal, putting it on your home. There used to be the Greener Homes
Yeah, it's
loan,
Greener
I think it
Homes.
was.
That's right.
Maybe had a portion that was forgivable. But even with municipalities right now, or even residentially speaking, there are no offsetting grants.
okay, so what is the consensus here? Do you want Stephen to push it forward, and if you guys are interested in this, is?
I'd like to see it. push forward.
Councillor Fawnin?
I'd like to vote.
Councillor Ruche?
I'd like to see it push forward and with the options of
Okay.
maybe getting it
Councillor
going
Bruce?
right this
Okay.
year.
Councillor Russo?
Same.
Okay, you got the consensus to move ahead.
Okay, one last question to council. If the capital budget plays out in such a way this year that I have funds available, would you like me to bring an RFD sooner than later? I don't know that that's the case, but if a project needs to be delayed, or we've saved money on other projects, or are we simply deferring this to the 2027 budget?
Okay, if that does come to an option, Councillor Russo, what do you think?
I'd be in favor of you bringing forward an RFD to
Okay.
have it looked at maybe in 2026. I think something like this we can move on and get it done and start saving money in 2027 because by the time it happens, time it gets constructed and whatnot, it might be.
Yeah, I was happy to hear from Alex that there's a 25% deposit
Yeah.
up front, and then a second 25, and then the remaining
Yeah,
50,
that's-
so.
Workable. Okay, Councillor Ruche?
Yeah, if possible, the sooner the better.
Okay, Councillor
Yeah,
Fawnin?
to bring it forward.
Councillor Rosenchuk?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the November timeline there, and that's
Okay.
we're getting into frost. So
So
the
Stephen-
sooner we can push.
We're good.
Very good, I have what I need.
Okay, we don't need to move anything, we're just,
You want a motion to that effect?
I wouldn't mind, yeah, it's always good.
okay, Councillor Russo made that
That
motion?
if it presented that there could be room in the 2026 capital budget for this solar project that we brought forward in 2026.
As an RFD.
As an RFD.
Okay,
Sir.
any debate on the motion? Not, all in favor?
Do we need the motion though as well for him to bring back the first information? That we asked about,
No, this is just on his thing.
but he was gonna come back with the different scenarios
Oh, yeah,
and
he did
stuff.
that's
Do we
different.
need an RFD for that? That's what I'm saying, we were into.
Oh, I'll
discussion.
include all of that in the same
All in the same
RFD, if that's
RFD, okay, that's what I'm asking.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd like to see
Because
the
we've got
concept
another
line from
Subject. that's
Okay.
from
the
Marietta,
same.
and then, yeah.
Most definitely, yeah.
Okay,
okay, all in favor, I think it was carried. So,
Yeah.
good. Okay, we'll move on to number 6.1, fire services report. Is there any questions on fire services? Councillor Rosenthal?
August 12th there, just, I don't know, our sales rep for the fire truck, so just, there's no information on that, but maybe we can.
No information yet.
Yeah.
Trevor has been able to meet with, I think it was 2 different manufacturers, Smeal and not sure the other one, Pierce.
Been
Pierce
to
Fire
those,
Equipment.
they just go over what you're looking for, they can't give you firm numbers or
There's no
anything.
pricing on that.
No, there's no pricing.
No, we would, what I'm thinking is Trevor's going to be wanting to come and speak with council again, with an RFD actually to see is this a direction we're moving on, much like the solar, are we committing dollars in 2026, are we deferring to 2027? But I wouldn't expect council to commit to anything without him coming forward with another RFD.
Okay. Councillor Russo? No,
That's that.
no questions?
No questions.
Councillor Ruche?
No questions.
Councillor Fawnin?
I was just curious if Stephen, if you knew how many members showed up for the Special Olympics
Oh, I don't know.
fundraiser? And the outcome of that fundraiser.
What day was that? Councilor Collins?
August 15th.
15th?
Saturday.
Oh, for the dunk tank, right?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar, but I can certainly have Trevor pull that info and
Oh, you mean how much?
Members, so,
Special
well, it
Olympics?
said, so that's firemen?
They
That's
just
right.
built the
Okay.
tank for the Special Olympic fundraiser.
And they weren't
They
participating?
No,
Like
they just
physically
just-
didn't-
it was just
physically
the-
didn't fall
no,
and
they
fill
filled
it,
up the
right?
tank
They
and
just
then
used
they.
the water
wasn't
truck
in
to
the
fill up
tank then?
That's all.
Okay.
They weren't. It's no
They weren't being
fundraiser
dumped.
for the fire.
Okay, they were
No.
Duncan.
No.
Only filled, okay.
Okay, Councilor Wong?
No, we're good, thank you.
Okay, I wanted to thank Chief Tatouch and his wife for at the pancake breakfast at Tatum 30s. That was nice.
Yeah.
Tracy and Trevor. And also, what is the HARP flooding thing?
Where are you reading?
Fire Services, what is HARP flooding application? You put it, no?
So, HARP flooding is a
County.
provincial relief fund that they put in this year. I'm just going to quickly search it up so I get the Hazard Assistance and Resilience Program is what it is, which is financial assistance for uninsurable losses. So, the County of St. Paul, I believe, is submitting a claim. I believe the town of Elk Point is submitting a claim for uninsurable loss. It's financial assistance from the
Yeah.
province.
Okay.
Yeah, Trevor is helping these communities with his involvement with emergency management.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, no more questions there. We're going to municipal enforcement. Any questions there, Councilor Wong? Councilor Fodnas?
No, just concerning the verbal warnings. Every month goes by, so.
Getting to be a
Yeah.
pattern there, Councillor Fox.
Well, it's a concern of mine, so I'm just wondering how many more verbal warnings we could hand out before the public actually realizes what they're doing.
Yeah,
Just to do it, it's, yeah, that, and then also, the congestion at the parking lot, during the soccer tournament and stuff, if that's something that this council needs to look at expanding that north part of that area, so.
also in his report, he noted
Yeah,
during patrols, the CPO said it was congested.
yeah,
It is congested.
Yeah.
It is, but you know what, the traffic, they didn't open the west gate. The west gate is there as an exit and nobody ever opens it. And I'm not gonna tell them because like Councillor Fodner says, you can only give them verbal warnings so many times and then you just quit. So I leave them plan their tournament, leave the gate closed and watch everybody try to get out one entrance. Whereas you have that exit, we put it in there on purpose to alleviate the problem and spread out the traffic. So you can go in one way, you can slide out the other way if
Beside Garno Lake.
beside
Yeah,
Garden Lake.
okay.
But there's no really signage, and I don't think a lot of people know that there's an exit over there. And
Well,
then
because
the
they
soccer club would actually have to, soccer association would actually have to go open that gate as well and kind of.
Well, that's hard, opening the lock. And,
So I think this particular note, though, from one of his CPOs is the grounds of the Iron Horse campground.
yeah, that
Not
was,
to do with Reunion Station, right?
yeah.
It's about where the campers are. So
Yeah.
one way in, one way out, basically. We wouldn't want to open anything on the north side. We'd probably have some highway concerns.
Yeah, you don't
Because
want to
there's
open the
one
door.
entrance
No.
there.
There was a lot of soccer though, like you had provincials and you
Provincials,
had,
yeah.
had the Lakeland Cup there too. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of soccer teams, 4H levels in there
Yeah.
at a time.
I have a feeling that if I was to ask Chief Kitowich that exact question, he'd probably say that it's a little bit hectic for a small amount of time. Probably manageable and just needs to be maybe patrolled a little bit and maybe some
Give out
strategic parking
verbal
plans.
warnings.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, I just wanted to mention, I'd like to see the municipal side of that graph get a little bigger compared to the provincial side. That graph, we have 55% municipal and 45 provincial. I'd like to see that about a
Like the
70-30,
the effort on
Yeah.
the municipal side
a little stronger
be more than
than the.
provincial side. So I guess that's twofold. Are you asking the
I just, I
Neighboring-
feel that we sometimes we're spending on policing,
Oh.
right? And then we're backing the policing. Like I'll use an example. I've seen them parked like just yesterday. She was or Sunday. She was parked at the the vehicle was parked by the school.
the four-way
Watching
stuff.
four-way stops on a Sunday at 7 o'clock.
Well,
And
I
it's
mean,
just,
I'm-
to me, we could be doing other things in our community, that's all.
On bylaws.
On bylaws.
Yeah, so municipal
Yeah.
bylaw stuff.
Yeah,
Rather
exactly.
than
That's what I
traffic.
mean, that rather than traffic. That's what I'm getting at.
So you're saying maybe they should drive around in the residential areas more
More.
and have a look? Maybe
Back
look at that-
alleys.
that, you know, trailers.
Yeah, with
Trailers
weeds
hanging
growing in
over,
the back
like you
alleys.
talked about, Councillor Ruche before. Kids just hanging over the sidewalks, stuff like that.
okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Just to drive around in the residential areas, you may catch a nice neighborhood with an unsightly premises too, that, you know, they can give a verbal
good.
warning to.
Yeah, that or stray cat. Yeah.
No, just, and that's what you could do, right? That's true.
That's what
And
I'm,
that, yeah, and I'm with normal.
Parking too, like something,
Yeah.
RV parking on the streets unattended, kind of stuff, right? That-
Yeah, there are
That's a concern,
timelines, and
probably.
you're right, if they don't
You
have
have
to
to
go there.
concentrate more on the bylaws.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing from.
that's what I've heard from people, from residents
Yeah.
outside bringing it.
Yeah, same here
Okay.
last week.
Councillor Ruche.
Just with the verbal warnings, I'm wondering if they're tracked as to how many people get verbal warnings, and if it's the same people, the same 10 people every time we get the report, and if it is, or if we're not tracking who they're giving the verbal warnings to, eventually those warnings will have to be fines, because we can't keep.
Yeah, I won't need Trevor for this one. I can say with confidence that we're not giving verbal warnings, like recurring verbal warnings to the same people. There's a thing that gets exercised that we call or refer to as officer discretion. Much like a police officer, they have the ability to notice an infraction, pull over, or speak to somebody for an infraction, and use their discretion to decide if it's a ticketable offense or maybe a warning the first time. But if you're getting the same warning or the same opportunity for that person to pull you over the second and third time, I can assure you they're ending differently.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and if it's the same verbal warning over and over, one person tells 10 people, then that just grows. So if the message gets out that we're actually handing out fines, that they would actually tell their person or their friend next to them that I just got a ticket for this, and then
Yeah.
maybe that would stop the.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said though for the other side of that conversation where around my kitchen table I might be saying, I got pulled over today for doing something stupid and I got a warning, and I was so thankful that I got a warning.
Yes.
Right? Because it changes the perception of somebody being the bad guy in the community. Because don't forget that CPO has got to go to the grocery store and get groceries too.
Yeah.
Right? And have a life inside the community. So it's a small town, and officer discretion is something that I preach and support.
Yeah,
And I was gonna say, if we're not getting the calls, they're doing their job right.
yeah, that's.
At the end of the day, you're not getting calls from residents about it.
But if
I've
we're sorry, Nathan. go
Well,
ahead.
I've had one and it's been positive, actually two
Yeah.
positive, so to me that was a municipal bylaw thing where they said, geez, thank you for coming to attending, and it was dealt with on as much as they could, they understand, there's limits, but.
Yeah, and I guess the word would get out if they tell 10 of their friends,
Yeah,
and
well,
then they can kind of educate themselves,
Yeah,
so to
that's been
speak.
positive, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but if we're having a different conversation of, maybe we could spend more time with bylaw infractions, municipal bylaw infractions, as opposed to provincial traffic violations, then I think that's a conversation we can have with Trevor, and he can delegate to his team. Councillor Fondness, you did mention something though that kind of piqued my interest, and maybe we might give me an opportunity to say it publicly, with back alleys.
yes, back alleys, yes, I did get an email on back alleys concerning, that garbage isn't being picked up in the back alleys anymore, and that the residents, the owners of that property aren't actually going into the back alley to notice the height of their weeds, the
Right.
grass, whatnot. So
yes.
I just like to bring awareness
Yeah.
to the public
I think that's
and the
important
property
because
owners that they need to look at that back alley.
right, and it's not a town responsibility
It is.
to cut the grass, trees, and weeds in your back alley, right?
Exactly.
The lane is there for, well, it's there for multiple reasons, but it is a part of the benefit of that property that you have a laneway. So, for example, when we try to do regular maintenance in the back lane, like send the grader, and we end up pulling
All the
large
sod.
tufts of grass and
Yeah.
sod and weeds
then it
into the
looks good.
gravel, I'm not sending somebody to go pick the sod out of the gravel. That is a ratepayer's responsibility to keep the grass and weeds down because in the fall time, it's going to become a fire hazard, right? So I guess my little plug for the evening with back alley maintenance.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
So you want to repeat it, that it is the responsibility of the homeowner to do along your back alley?
That's right. Homeowner, business owner, whatever it is, if you have a back lane, much like the sidewalk in front of your house, whether there's a boulevard there or not, you need to cut the grass, you need to shovel the snow. Same as your back lane, you need to cut the grass.
And if that wasn't done, then it would fall under unsightly? Under
Yeah,
our bylaw?
I would say that would be a good opportunity for a CPO to knock on the door and say, hey, not sure if you're aware, but the grass is 2 feet tall.
Give them a verbal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that was good. I like that little interlude there, so, okay. Councilor Brusso?
I was just gonna mimic what was already said here. Is I've been on council for just about a year now, and I've only had one phone call that was concern raised, which is a good thing in my opinion. That I appreciate verbal warnings rather than tickets being done, and I think like educating the public is kind of what I want to see as direction being given, and like I appreciate that, you know, if their families riding their bikes without bike helmets, that the CPOs pull them over and just warn them about wearing bike helmets rather than ticketing the whole family and having that go around, that we're trying to enforce that type of enforcement. Like it really should be a warning where, hey, you know, please wear bike helmets. It's the law. And
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I like the one where you get to see the back alleys and stuff like that. I really think that's important, and that's where you're gonna move ahead. And I think that getting them out there more, and I agree with your description that they are people, and they tend to be the ones that get frowned upon, so like an RCMP or anybody in authority. So, yeah, give them credit, let them do their job.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
I do have one other question, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
I see there was one dog at large. So are we having any issues with the dog pound and bringing the dogs? There was obviously one dog at large issue, and so that just wondering if there was room with the dog pound if they captured a dog.
I won't be able to answer that, but I'm assuming someone to my left had to post a picture and advertise. Do you know, Sarah, if there was any advertisement and successful pickup? No? Okay. Sorry, can't answer for you tonight, but
Okay, go ahead,
Yeah,
Councilor.
touching on this, it's, I think, or it's important to note here, if it's a social media thing we're gonna put out, but school starts next week, school zones.
I think they
So
have
our
been
main
around.
provincial highway, so I know they're active there, so I think it's probably get a social media post coming up, but I know they're active in those areas, so I
I've seen
think
the
anyone
Facebook
listening or
post.
whatnot, we're,
I've seen the Facebook post from the town that had that
get
school zones start in effect August 31st. It was on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, and I would hope that the highway transportation actually paints our school zone signs, crosswalks, so.
I see a new sidewalk coming there, so that's gonna help, I think, or drainage at.
we put a swale across
Swale.
the
Yeah, swale's there.
intersection, yeah.
That'll help.
I think we're meeting tomorrow about putting asphalt back, so we hope to have that intersection in service anyway before school starts, so, yeah.
That would be nice.
So they must be doing highway repair in the area. There's about 4 or 5 of those repair trucks.
I did see those. I don't know where they're
I don't know
working,
where they're
but
at. I see
No,
they're
I see
in
the
town.
trucks, not in town.
I don't know if they're
Little
called
chip shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed them, they were heading west from Ashmont.
What's scratch my
If we were to put flashing lights for school zones coming in and out on our provincial highway, would
Yeah.
that be on the cost of
Us,
the province, or would that be us?
It would probably be, well, I can almost with certainty say that it would be the municipality's cost, the town's cost. And I don't think anybody would probably argue that. If we wanted them, we would make sure they're installed. The problem is getting permission from the province to put them there.
see each one, the one at the co-op and the one at
57th Street.
57th Street, yes.
Yeah.
They're at that time they're 150,000 a piece, and those are raised as photo radar funds.
Or I'm just kind of leaning towards more the sign where it comes in by the old KFC that says school zone. I've talked to some commercial companies that are running through, they don't really think, well, it's a provincial highway. So if that sign could be flashing or lit, something a little,
I've seen in communities where they have actually at 3:30 the sign flashes, and then at 5 o'clock it stops, whatever.
yeah,
It's
Right.
actually on a timer.
but that would be our cost.
But the question there though is, are you seeing those along a highway, or are you seeing
Yeah,
them in?
that's the highway.
Is it?
No, what I'm talking.
Yeah.
One was, yes.
One was, okay. So
When was it Southern Alberta?
just so council knows, previous conversations with Alberta Transportation earlier this year, I sent an email out with a bunch of questions, one of which was, can we install flashing signs highlighting high traffic pedestrian areas across the highway? So I'm awaiting a reply yet still, but one example is at our tourist information center, going north and south. It's a busy ped crossing. That's one example of where we would like to have ped crossing lights that flash whenever somebody comes to the intersection, hits the button. Not the overarching ones that go over the highway,
Yeah, yeah.
just the
Just the pole up.
8-foot tall ones that are on either side. So, in the works, I guess.
Okay, good, yeah, because
Yeah.
I know some teachers I talked to at Brissette would kind of, that was a concern there, so, and mainly commercial traffic, like semis coming through that just aren't aware, right, that
Yeah.
cruising on a provincial highway that, you know, if you're not paying attention, so. That'd be nice.
Okay, we move on to 6.3, Bert Pruno, Director of Utilities.
So I won't go everything in detail with Bert's report, but I'm sure there's probably a couple questions with either the project and or the water license.
Oh, the water license is good, I read that. It's just exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
I says, how can they take it away? And they answered my questions.
Right.
They're not, so which is
Yeah.
good.
So Alberta Environment actually
Watched our meeting?
probably not. probably read an article in the paper that was published and got a little bit concerned maybe that we were upset with them and they wanted to clarify what exactly the process would be. So I think Bert's outlined it here quite clear. But although applying for a new water license, we would not lose priority on our previous
Which
allocation.
is good. That's exactly what we were afraid of before.
That's right.
Because then you're at the back, you're at the bottom of the pile.
Right, and I was just worried about the wording that he'd used about, and we amalgamated the 3 licenses into like one, and I'm like, oh no.
But
That
then,
means you lose that priorities possibly, and I was just gonna ask that question, but that's not the case, then that's good.
it's not the case, no.
No.
That one piece, that 440, I think, acre feet that we're applying for, that extra would be at 2026. The rest would be in.
They would
line.
remain the 1950 priority and the 1998 priority.
Yep.
So it's more of an aggregate than an amalgamation.
Correct. I would say amalgamation is probably a poor word to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a total aggregate.
Yeah.
Of the 3 would consist of these.
Consists of the 3 priorities. Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Russo.
No, that was my concern question, so.
Okay,
That's good.
Councillor Uche.
No questions. Looks like construction's going good.
Yeah, I
It's kind
think-
of on schedule, sounds like.
Bert's keeping everybody on pace and on schedule there. So
So that's good.
happy to be able to report that.
Okay, Councillor Fodden.
No questions.
Okay, Councillor Noel. Councillor Rajachand. For myself, again, I'd like to thank Bert and his wife Laura. They also helped out at Hague in the 30s, so that was one good thing. And I was glad to see the water license thing straightened out because that's pretty important. And the fact that a lot of communities are dealing with their stormwater and sanitary sewers being overwhelmed, and I think our communities come through really good. And so that's a credit to past councils, staff, and everybody here dealing with it because no flooding. Of course, you got some leakage of basins, but the no flooding thing is the big thing.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
that means we're doing something right here. So kudos to everybody. Okay, 6.4, Brenda Bilo, Director of FTSS. Councillor Noel.
Been busy, as you see.
Okay, Councillor Fodnas.
I'm just trying to look for it in the report. Muddy trucks. So I'm just curious what muddy trucks is. I'm trying to find it in the report here.
Oh, right there. It's right below the St. Paul, right towards the top.
I might need some help with that one.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I've never heard of it before, and I just figured I'd ask, and the public would know.
Look at the
so.
age.
But yeah, and
thing.
there was 22 participants.
Yeah, but look at the age, 0 to 6.
Yeah, so
You're in
kind
a
of just.
muddy sandbox.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that what it was?
yeah,
I'm
must
sure
be.
0 to 6.
Yeah, must be some-
Talking things maybe, yeah.
No,
I'm just
saying, you're in a
curious.
Yeah,
muddy hole.
sounds like this isn't the Glendon Derby. This is more. This is more youth focused, very young kids, sensory
Yeah.
play, toy trucks in sandboxes.
Yeah, that's
Or
water.
And that's what they call it, is muddy trucks.
nice. Sounds like it. Yeah.
That was my only question, so.
Okay, Councillor Ruche?
No, just always so busy, aren't they?
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor
No questions.
Ruche, okay. Mine was, she had 1,500 people at Canada Day and 7 volunteers. Really? Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, it is. Canada Day is, although included in Brenda's report, that's part of what they did in July. Canada Day is speaking on behalf of the organization, a town initiative that takes a lot of effort, a lot of planning, and a lot of wind out of certain people's sails within the organization, not just FCSS. But it's a ton of people. I think this year again we nailed it, so to speak. I think there's always room for improvement and different things that we can do, but we were also blessed with a really nice day of weather that day.
It wasn't raining?
No, we were in between rains. I think it rained the day before and the day after. So, yeah, the volunteers that we have and the staff as well that put time and effort into Canada Day is invaluable for sure.
But 7. 7 is like, I don't think any of us went there. Did you ask us or we just went around?
Yeah, you guys all said no.
I went.
You can remember it says 7 volunteers, but we're not including the
The staff?
junior B, that did all the volunteers that did the cooking for the hot dogs. And
Okay.
all of those things.
So
are
okay.
included.
the reason why I would say 7 volunteers within Brenda's report is she would have recruited 7
Oh, okay.
volunteers on her own. We also have staff members that.
Okay, that's
In
not
other
counted.
areas.
That's right.
Okay, good. But still, 1,500 people is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Okay. Nothing else? No? Councillor Rosja? Okay, we'll move on to OH&S, Ashley Dairy. There you are, Stephen. On the property damage. Okay, Councillor Podless.
I just want to say that it's sad that our workers have to put up with intoxication at our swimming pool. Not very impressed by looking at it here on a report. My other one was that I am still a little discouraged about the monitors, gas monitors, and it has been extended to the end of October. A little disappointed in seeing that as well. Just, it puts our town employees at risk, so.
Yeah, it's disappointing for us too. We'd like nothing more than to get an OH&S order rectified, but we're just gonna have to continue with these personal gas monitors in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of our control, I guess, a little bit. So
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Councillor Rucci.
No, nothing.
Councillor Russo.
And just, we should do an OHS report about the fruit flies that are in here that
Yeah,
swinging his arms out like that. No,
2 meetings in a row now.
no, nothing.
Maybe they're following me. In.
Councillor Rosenthal.
Yeah, nothing for me, just like
Cider
Bob
work.
said, disappointing to have those issues at the pool there, and typically young staff working there, so, good job by them. Obviously, they handled things properly, it sounds like, so kudos to them.
Yeah, it's nice to when we do have peace officer representation what am I trying to say? When peace officers are working later, have a late shift. It's nice for them to kind of just slip into the pool every now and then, do a quick check on the staff, and just let that presence be known. So
That was my question, if you do that. So you
Yes.
do that? So
Yes,
that
we
was
do.
my issue with it, and I thought, when does it happen? Is it on public swims where they can make a point of making a presence at public swims?
yeah, it would be the public swim. That's kind of the one that takes us later into the evening.
Yeah. Okay. Because if they come in with alcohol and then, so maybe change it up a bit, but if they're doing it already, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Stephen, would they go and do like the other facilities too, like the arenas and stuff like that?
Yeah,
like,
we encourage it. We encourage it for sure. I mean, sometimes I'll see the peace officers just at a random hockey practice, which is good to see. But it's we definitely encourage it. If any public facility, if there's
To stop by the ball.
a bunch of vehicles outside, and go do a walk through a park,
Yeah.
you never know the conversations you're gonna have,
No,
right?
I agree. I was a few months ago in Lloyd at the multiplex there, and I noticed when I was in there that 2 peace officers from the city came in and they did a little walkabout, just checking out, saying hi, and then they walked just walk through and presence is good to have.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
Things that
I guess I could say that for my report too, but on this, in the same vein, Staff Sergeant Dave Graham and Sergeant Andrew Druin, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but they've been spending quite a lot of time walking the beat as well, up and down Main Street. So, and that goes a long way with the business community. You know, everybody's getting a wave. They open the door. How's everything today? You know, I think that goes a long way. So.
Well, you know, you're saying that, and I thought the same thing. Is I was in Saskatoon not very long ago, and we walked, and we got questioned. You walked into this area, and I said, are we not supposed to walk? Apparently not in this area. But in that area, there's the police chief in uniform. He's doing his walks and talking to everybody on that street, and that's supposed to be about 2 or 3 blocks, and he's in there making his presence known.
Right.
And it was definitely the chief.
Yeah.
Not a subordinate, but
Right.
So you're right, it does go a long way. Okay, we'll move on to 6.6, Director of Public Works, Mike Landry. Any questions for Mr. Landry? Councillor Ruche,
No, nothing.
Councillor Russo?
No.
Councillor Fodness?
Just a thank you to Public Works, that I could see the work that they've been doing. It's quite intensive, so just a kudos out to them.
Yeah, there's not many corners in town that aren't tore up right now,
That's
or
right.
they're,
So they're quite
have been
busy.
tore up. So there, and the push is on for them, right? They love to see the contractors come in, but trust me, they love to see them go too. Especially before school starts, they're on a push right now to get things done before school's back in. So
And I'd like to let Mayor Anderson know that they are moving the yellow line in front of elementary school. They painted it black already.
oh yeah, we did move it.
Yeah, it's double wide too, the line is.
Yeah.
I was down there today.
Just so you know.
But you know what, it's gonna be chaotic in there, and construction is there.
So definitely.
It's
Yeah.
restricted.
We're definitely staying in touch with the project manager or the site supervisor, ensuring that they know and are aware and prepared for what's to come next week. I think it's next week, right? Or
Next
soon enough.
Monday.
And not necessarily with the school buses and the kids, but the vehicle traffic, the parent drop-offs, the parent pickups. So we had a meeting with them last week, and we actually had them move a few things further away from the Sunnyside entrance. Please don't park your vehicle here. Consider parking it on the east side of the trailer. So making some minor tweaks, just trying to help that area out as much as we can. So
It'll be busy.
yeah, and that sidewalk is in front of the job shack is open too, right? We've not closed that sidewalk down, so that's an active pedestrian zone as well, and it needs to be open for motorized wheelchairs as well, because there's a lot of supervisors around.
You get a lot of supervisors going by. You go by it every day. There's 3 or 4.
Which, you
sitting
know
there
what,
watching.
it's really nice. If I was there, guess where I'd be? Sitting watching the equipment work. So
There's no possibility of moving that job shack down further to the back alley. So.
Can't, because that alley's not that wide.
No, we don't have to move it into the, but
No,
move
no.
it on the street to the other end
To
of
the
the
east.
Oh, you know why that's there? It's because access into the existing building is what they do, right?
they go right into the back door of the building
Yeah.
there. But
That's what it is.
I basically what I said, Councillor Noel, was let's make these tweaks now, and let's evaluate, and let's see where we're at in a month. And if it's not working, then we're gonna come back.
Yeah.
And they're aware. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the pickup once that starts happening.
yeah,
At least you have some barriers up, and you have a sign up, and you
Mm-hmm.
have some, something to people. People did slow down in there, even though it's not a school zone. They were driving
Right.
definitely different today,
yeah, good.
which is good. Okay, Councillor Wall? Councillor Rosatow? And I'm good. I see they're all over patching. Is that our crew, or is that someone else?
Concrete patching, sidewalk patching, or
Asphalt.
asphalt would be us.
Okay,
Anything concrete related happening right now is a contracted service.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, we'll move on to 6.7, Harvey Snow, Director of Parks and Rec. Councillor Bruce,
No questions.
Councillor Rosachuk?
Nothing, I'll just touch on is it the Wibbit or whatever the thing?
Yep.
I've had so many, again, positive comments about that, and kids are excited and itching to get there when it's posted, especially that that's available, so I wanna say that's a It's a definite bonus for our facility there. Well enjoyed.
Councillor Noel? Councillor Fonders?
I was just curious, with the Iron Horse Campground, how late is the campground open?
It pretty well follows the golf course. The only reason I say that is kind of from a weather perspective. I think if we can push it to Thanksgiving, we try to.
Okay.
The problem with keeping it open any longer is if we leave water supplied to the sites, then we end up freezing the services and we burst the valve that's shallow in the ground. So, but I think pretty well till about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the workers that they appreciate the longer like opening because they're still working in the area. So those campers that are there right now are a lot of them are workers in the area, and they have this stall booked for months at a time just for the working area.
So even if the water was shut off, are we able to leave it extended open for some of the workers that are?
We do.
Okay.
We do for some of the workers.
Yeah.
But they need to be aware that there's no water and sewer. And
That's right.
If they can handle everything, then we allow them to continue.
Okay.
Yeah. We won't necessarily have caretakers.
Yeah.
But that's something that Harvey and or some of his staff.
just opening the gate, closing the gate.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank
Do
you.
some check-ins. How's everybody doing? Kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Councillor Ritchie?
No, nothing.
Councillor Brusseau? Okay. No, I'm good with that. Preparing for rodeo, is everybody ready for that? Or are you ever ready for that?
Yeah, no, I think, the Egg Society's been doing a ton of work. If you guys follow them on social media, they've been, they dismantle the Clancy. They let us know when they're ready. Public Works brings in all of the rodeo dirt, and Daryl's team is doing everything that they need to. But yeah, the Egg Society has been hard at it for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, 6-8, CFO, Mitchell Bassler. Okay, Councillor Ozjuk.
Just to highlight here, I noticed we have 1 and 2 new doctors coming to
Yeah.
town, so I think that's good that they're getting situated here, it looks like, and
Yeah,
space for
absolutely.
them, so that's a bonus for our community there. 2
Mhm.
doctors.
Yeah, maybe it's a good time for me too. I'll go to do a little public shout out to our Chamber of Commerce president, I believe it is, Erin Reed, one of the latest doctors that signed up with us and doing her assessment, came back to town after doing a site tour with him. You weren't available, I wasn't available, I don't think any other councillors were available, so I trusted our Chamber of Commerce president to take this doctor around, showcase the community, and obviously he did a good job. So she's back and getting signed up with the community.
Good deal.
Mhm.
Probably a nice establishment to work in. It is. Wellness Center is very nice.
Yeah, that particular doctor, I believe, doing their assessment in Cold Lake, but is now locally established in our physician rental space, like accommodations.
Yeah.
But they will be practicing out of Living Home.
Oh, okay.
The other doctor that Mitchell references here in his report is now set up in the Wellness Center. Yeah, and I think also intends to bring his spouse or their spouse, which is also a practicing GP. So
Good.
yeah.
Okay, Councillor Brusseau?
On Mitchell's report.
Yep.
Just our software problem. I don't see any kind of update on it.
That's what I was gonna.
I had that too. Silga? That one?
Yeah, so good. Yeah,
That's a good thing.
I was just like, I'm just wondering if Mitchell's just avoiding that issue, like, and
Funny, Councillor Brusseau, that went through my head too, and I wrote down, so dumb is he trying to avoid it?
Yeah, the first question.
That was me, yes.
I'm just trying to find out.
Not one person.
yeah, I didn't put anything in there, so I'm thinking, geez, are we actually resolved, or is it still an issue?
No, I would say somewhere in the middle. Not necessarily an issue, not necessarily resolved, but progressing, moving forward onto the next phase. I'm just trying to find a quick email here from him where he was.
So I think the next one was like payroll of staff.
That's right.
Wanted to go right, so just want to know if he'd started initiating that payroll.
Yes, he did. So I'm just going back to an email here from earlier this month. He's requested a date where we will see a hard date from the supplier or the software provider, that we will be going to the next step. So he's as frustrated as, well, he would be the most frustrated person with this process, mostly because it falls on him and his team to ensure that this happens as smooth as possible, right? So what I can tell you is that it's an ongoing concern for me, I suppose, but it's more a timing thing for him, that he's ready to get his team onto the next phase, so that we can eventually, hopefully, maybe even start 2027 on a whole new system. So
Well, he got his tax penalties in there, right?
yes,
So,
yeah,
So that's okay, that's the next step.
Yeah, I am glad that one person of our properties that we have to sell tax or tax.
yeah, that's really positive.
Default that one paid up and the other one hopefully he has paid up full before you have to auction it.
Yeah, that's really positive. Those are always nice bullets to see when we have properties that are able to find a way and become current. The last thing we want to do is have to auction anybody's property off, but that's what the MGA says we have
Yeah,
to do.
exactly.
So, right.
Except for do it though. We've always gotten close. I never,
Yeah, close.
Yeah.
but never had that we actually auctioned it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Big lot.
Sometimes though, there's circumstances that leave you with no other choice. And that's, I believe, where we're headed with the one property. So I don't anticipate that we will end the year or get to October with the other property being paid. I fully believe that we will have one property going to auction this year. And that's for no other reason than that's what the circumstances are.
Yeah. Councilor Rucci,
No, nothing.
Councilor Poggins, did you answer your question on Silva?
Yeah, I had one other question on the wellness center. With the new doctors coming into the offices, how many offices are we left in the wellness center?
That's a really good question. And one that I probably asked Mitchell
Sometimes they
monthly.
share though.
Yeah.
They share, they have two desks in one space and they pay for that office, but they put two people in it. So it depends who's in their little group.
So does that wellness center fall under like Bert,
It falls under Bert for maintenance.
Okay.
Bert's department, like
but not for the lease?
rental, lease space, negotiations, that falls under Mitchell's responsibilities.
Yeah.
What I can say, Councillor Fondness, is that we do have space left, but we don't have much. So it's
3, 5.
No, he said it in here, he's fixing up a couple rooms, that, space to be renovated, it's patching and stuff.
so on the what I'll refer to with the wellness center is two different sides, right? We have the medical side, and then we have we kind of call it the PCN side, because PCN has the vast majority of the space on the north side, the north half of the building. But if I was to take a guess, Councillor Fondness, I would say we might have 5 rooms available on the medical side.
On the medical side, okay. And on the north side then?
Full.
Full, okay. Great, thank you.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
That is
Yeah,
very good.
that's good to hear.
Okay, Councillor Noah.
The only thing is a little nervous regarding the working on the annual insurance renewal questionnaire. After the year we've had, not that we've done anything
Oh, I
wrong,
see. Just
but
with the climate.
just the climate and the
Yeah.
fires and the floods and
Yeah,
where we're heading with that is going to be.
that goes for everybody.
Yeah, it's for homeowners, for everybody. It's scary what we're headed to.
Exactly. No, my only question for Mitchell was, how we doing on Silva?
Okay.
That's it, so.
Progressing, but not as fast as we would like to.
That's what I thought when he didn't put it in, that's exactly what I thought.
No news is good news.
Yeah, I'm still here. Okay, you have the reports of all the directors or administration. Does somebody want to move all reports?
I can move the
Okay,
reports.
moved by Councillor Rucci. Any more debate? Vote. All in favor? Yep, carried. Thanks. Okay, 6.9, we have the St. Paul Economic Development Alliance minutes. Okay. Councillor Noah, any questions?
Not really. No, not at this moment.
This is new, this is added in. Okay, Councillor Fondness,
Yeah, no questions.
Councillor Rucci,
No.
Councilor Brusso?
I just wanted to just comment that I do appreciate this step meeting. I like the meeting itself, like being pretty current, August 13th, and the minutes from there. So it's good to see that it's kind of bringing us so that's not from 2 months ago. It's pretty new.
Yeah. Councilor Elder?
And Nathan was there because I see him.
I was there at this one, of course, yeah, I got notes and, yeah, so we meet monthly on that, so we have one coming up September 3rd again here, so, I mean, I can go through my council report too, but any key projects, topics here, but, if anyone has questions on those.
No, it was good. I agree with Councilor Brusso. It's nice to have a most bird.
Yeah, that's Ella there that deals with that, so she's really, you know, we're pretty updated in our email through the committee there and stuff, so we're in touch very.
The portage one caught my interest there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The which one?
The portage. That's what's happening there.
Yeah, I'm not, she's involved, Linda's involved with them somehow,
Yeah.
Portage.
Yeah, so that
Isn't she
email-
on the board?
She's on the board,
Circulated
she used to be.
today, yeah,
That's one.
so that's a different perspective on that, so. But that was in our discussions there too, so.
I don't know where that says they're at, that information we just got just before, but I'm not sure. But anyway, if there's no questions on this, would someone like to move it as information? Councilor Noel as information, all in favor? It's carried, thank you. Okay, we have Stephen, the floor is yours, CAO report.
Okay. I don't really want to say it, but we are getting towards the end of August. And like it or not, the leaves are going to change colors here. So we've certainly got some construction projects that we need to stay heavy on the gas pedal here. I know Michael's certainly got some things he needs to get done here this year. Mitchell, of course, will continue pushing within his area with Sylogist Gov. Bert's got a very large project happening within his utilities department. And all other departments, as you can see, as we went through all the department reports, are quite busy. So my time has been spread out in the last couple weeks, but a lot of which has been spent ensuring that some of these projects are progressing, staying on time, getting signed off or needing approval, and still hoping to have some of them finished up yet this fall. So the streetlight project, I'll say, is one of those where we intend to finish the street lighting from 51st Street to 57th Street along the walking trail. ATCO now has that project out for bids with their construction teams. So we hope to hear something back fairly soon. If you are on the walking trail, you will notice that the pole locations have been surveyed, and there will be some mulching that's required on the west end of that project. So as you near 57th Street, we do need some additional space within the Municorp property that has become overgrown and treed. So in coming weeks, I can almost guarantee that there will be some mulching happening there. So our teams will be making sure that everybody's safe and can still walk, but we may need to close off certain areas while we're doing the work.
How many lights in that?
19.
19? Okay.
Yeah. So from 51st Street to 57th, there'll be 19 steel davits, is what they're called,
Yeah.
installed along the trail. It'll be on the south side of the trail, south side of the asphalt portion. We didn't want to have any poles in between the, I'll call it the snowmobile trail and the walking
Yeah,
trail.
that's not good.
We wanted everything on the south side. So yeah, it's going to be a big one. It'll be good for the community.
No solar, that's all hardwired.
No solar, that's all hardwired. Yep.
But we looked into solar and it wasn't a good
Yeah,
option, right?
not a good option for that type of style. I think it would actually be extremely expensive as well.
Okay.
But I think their solar streetlights or that type of light does have its place. But I think it's probably more for parking lot areas and those types of
Well, I
installations.
think if the way you have LED lights, I think paying up front, longevity is probably better with an LED and hardwired in, so.
Mhm.
Because the batteries over the winter are the ones that are the determining factor in solar, so.
Right.
Is that point solar? I'm trying to remember. now.
They were,
They
They
were.
have a stretch there.
Yeah, they have a stretch there.
West.
Yeah. Been fairly problematic.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They have issues there.
at the beginning they were good, but then, you know, when you pay thousands of dollars for the battery, then,
Yeah.
you know, it's only as good as
Mhm.
cold weather, right? Okay, any questions for Stephen? Councilor Russo?
Yeah, I just have one question. I was just more, I know it was something that you mentioned, some of the projects, it just be nice, maybe, I'm not sure if we can ask you for like maybe next CA report that we have kind of update on all our projects, 2026 projects, like where we're at with them, like, cause kind of go over them.
Yep.
'Cause I forgot some of it already, and I know last week somebody asked me about the well pump and shack at the golf course. I didn't know what to say because I don't know where we're at with it, and
Yep.
so it'd been nice to just kind of maybe update on where some of these things are, if they're gonna be pushed back, because like our season's been pretty short at the golf course. So I hate to see it, like people coming in with equipment now and drilling a well on hole number one and making
Yeah.
ruts because it's still pretty wet.
Yeah. It's a great idea. And we actually had it won't be in my CO report. What I'll do is create a briefing.
That's what I was gonna say.
It'll probably be called
Sure.
Capital Project.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sarah and I had it on for this meeting actually, but we didn't get to compile everything. So we're on the same train of thought. I can absolutely put everything together from the projects. The golf course though, specifically, the pump has been ordered and we're just awaiting arrival. So I do anticipate that we'll receive that pump in September. The well though, we've pushed and we've kind of just left alone until I really want to think that one through, make sure we're doing the right thing and putting it in the right place before we pull the trigger and end up running up.
yeah, because like now I think
fairways or
you make a lot of ruts on, you know, if you came through like 7 or came across 6, you'd make some pretty good ruts
Yeah.
to get to where that shack is on 1.
Yeah. And I think that's not necessarily something that needs to be done in the growing months. It can be done in frozen conditions too.
I would think so.
So
If
if we need
you
to-
could wait till the golf course closes in October. Or,
Yeah. Put rig mats down even to get yourselves there. Yeah, absolutely.
thanks.
Okay, Councilor Rucci?
I see you met with Associated Engineering on the stormwater project. How's that?
It was really good. So after council passed that motion last meeting to get them started on the first phase, we'll call it, with prelim design and survey gathering and everything associated had come out to the community. And it was twofold. We had a meeting in the office first to go over all of the concepts and everything that would be involved. And Michael and I took the extra time, and I think it was probably 2 hours even, and we toured them through the entire scope of the project, I guess, so that they could get a really good visual of the areas that need attention, whether they flooded in the past, and we were also able to give them some really good aerial photos and videos of how our system interacts when we do get a big rain event. So they're really appreciative and excited to get started.
Perfect. Thank you.
Councilor Farkas?
No questions.
Okay, Councilor Ross?
Just, I see you received an update from the St. Paul BMX and skate park.
So
Can you tell us?
not a lot of information, but what I did get from them is positive, that they're reviving their society status, getting the necessary paperwork approved through the province, getting their bank accounts back initiated, so that they can continue with their fundraising efforts on not only phase 2, but cleaning up first phase 1. So quite positive. Yeah, I think even so far as to before they can get in line with further fundraising, they need to get their society status revitalized, and then are looking towards setting themselves up for casino opportunities and things like that. So, yeah.
Okay, Councilor Ross?
Yeah, that was the question I have with skate park, so it's good to get the update. Yeah, the project list would be nice. I've had a few people kind of asking about what's going on at the end of 53rd Street and stuff like that. And
Oh,
yeah,
Got it,
so I
yeah.
see some spray lines there, so that'll be on our update, I'm sure that.
That one's a little bit more operational in nature.
Okay.
That's not necessarily a capital project even that I would have brought forward. The end of 53rd Street, what Councillor Olszczuk is referring to is, it's exactly that, the end of the dead end of 53rd Street south of the pool. Residential neighborhood, but the street dead ends and everybody uses it as a turnaround and comes back, right? So basically what we have planned there, and have a meeting in the morning, is to actually pour concrete curb and gutter, make sure that we can facilitate positive drainage, and then repave that bubble, so to speak, that it's a little more aesthetically pleasing, but functions a little better as well. Followed with that, we do have plans of beautifying it a little bit with tree planting, and I can't exactly say when the tree planting is going to happen. So.
That's a public use, very busy walking trail, access point for public, so that would be a good feature there, I think, to have for sure.
Okay. For mine, you already answered some of mine already.
Okay,
Yes.
imagine that.
Yeah, go figure. We can't let you off, but I was gonna recommend the same thing. Put all your, the projects on one sheet and then send it to council, and then if they have any questions, they can go from there, where it's at, stuff like that, so.
Yeah, that
that's a
sounds good.
idea. All right, someone want to move the CAO report? Councilor Rosachuk, all in favor? It's carried, thank you. Okay, we're RFD 7.1.
Okay, so 7.1 is a request for a letter of support, and this letter of support would be for Peace and Power Canadian Northern Corridor Initiative. Peace and Power presented at our joint council meeting at the Summer Village of Horseshoe Bay, and the presentation outlined an Indigenous-led vision for a phased multimodal infrastructure corridor extending across Western Canada, incorporating potential rail, pipelines, fiber optic infrastructure, transmission, and other supporting infrastructure intended to move connectivity, Indigenous economic participation, and regional economic development. I won't go through the entirety of the RFD, but what I will say is passing a letter of support this evening would not commit the municipality to any funding, land use approvals, infrastructure investment, or future participation in the project. Any future decisions regarding specific projects, routing agreements, or municipal commitments would be subject to separate council consideration. So this evening, council, the options are that council provide a letter of support in response to Peace and Power's request, or that council accept this as information. And it is council's discretion, but administratively, I see no issue in providing a letter of support.
Okay, can somebody move?
I'll move that council provide a letter of support in response to Peace and Power request.
Okay, moved by Councilor Flores. Any debate? Councilor Rosachuk. Councilor Brisso? Councilor Pucci? No. Councilor Wall? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. 7.2, Regional Assistant Review Board.
Okay, so this is the agreement that's being drafted and outlined for the Regional Assessment Review Board. Earlier in the term, the following information was brought forward regarding this board, that the County of Two Hills submitted a request to join the ARB, the Regional ARB, which currently includes the Town of St. Paul, Town of Oak Point, and Summer Village of Horseshoe Bay. In order to consider this request, unanimous consent is required, and the following motion was carried, that council approved the inclusion of Two Hills into the Regional ARB. Administration has been advised that all participating municipalities have approved this request, and attached, we've updated the agreement for execution by all parties pending council approval. Options this evening are that council approve this agreement, or that council provide further amendments, but the recommendation is to approve as presented.
Okay, can somebody move? Moved by Councilor Russo. Any debate? Councilor Wall?
No.
Councilor Fodras?
The motion was option one.
Yep.
Councilor Rucci? No. Councilor Rosachuk? Okay, we have Councilor Brusso's motion on the floor. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, we'll move into no briefings. 9, Mayor and Council reports. Okay, Councilor Brusso. How was your ride?
It was great. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I learned lots, and I enjoyed the ride it's a far ride, and I didn't know how much if my Ranger could make it that 430 kilometers back on a tank of gas, but it did, and It was good. It was good. They had a good meal, and they stopped quite a few times to explain, and the trees, and you know, and Councillor Quanis had brought these trees up many times, and I actually got to see it. Jerry Bidlick had give us the scoop on them, their how they plant trees, where they plant trees, and little communities, like including with apple trees and different fruit-bearing trees that they put for the folks in those little communities to go and pick the fruit off of them. And then some, I think Council Fondness put his name on a stake by a tree
Well, they gave
somewhere,
some unicorn.
but that was good. It was a good ride.
Good. And did you stop at the oldest pool hall in Alberta?
We did. We actually had lunch there.
Okay.
We had lunch there, and yeah, and didn't play pool there,
I
but
actually brought it along with me if you guys want to read it quickly.
Quickly, but yeah, it's amazing history on that.
Yeah, it's an
yeah,
amazing place.
he gave the owner had, and he gave us a history of the pool hall and what they used to have, like a child minding area, like in the back there of it, and yeah, no, he explained the history of it. The original pool hall burnt down the year before that one was constructed, like 100 years ago or something.
Yeah, back in 1921.
Yeah.
Did you guys get each haircut while you were there?
No, he wasn't there. He's only there for 3
Yeah,
days.
he wasn't there. I think Council Fondness would have got a haircut if he was there. But it's amazing that to hear the history of like even the railway of where they had trestle bridges and then they just filled them in, and now they're like, you never know there's an actual trestle bridge in certain spots of the trail.
Culverts.
Well, it was like an actual wood trestle bridge,
Yeah, little ones, yeah.
and they came in when they're trains and they just stopped over it and they just dumped every time they went by. They just dumped dirt, and
It was cheaper to do
it was
that
just
than-
cheaper to bury them than actually to refix them up. So they just buried them underground.
Okay. Any questions for Councillor Russo? Thank you. Councillor Ruche. How's it going there? Did they find a community to be the lead? Last time they were looking for a lead community or something?
Where did they be?
This was a different type of session. It was, we had a,
Strategic planning.
yes, strategic planning session. And so we have a executive meeting tomorrow, online meeting, then I'll know then if we have a community as a designated.
Okay, good, thanks. Any questions for Councillor Ruche? No? Councillor Fondness, you know how much you enjoyed that. So what's the update on Evergreen Waste?
Lots going on in Evergreen. Our new manager started. She met with most of our clientele, I guess, so to speak. She's only got one left. I believe it's Saddle Lake that she's going to go see her this week with Paul Pula. We also are in our final agreement with EPAR for hauling in clay for daily coverage. We are looking at new policies within Evergreen itself. We're trying to get away from the umbrella of the county, so we're going to be more of our own identity. So we are coming across more policies and making policies and stuff.
Yeah, what maybe I'll allude to that, Councillor Fondness, if I can. Not that the county of St. Paul's leaving the commission or anything. It's more about Evergreen having their own and
They are
identity.
commissioned, so.
They're a commission, right? So they'll be
Okay.
doing their own payroll. They'll have their own.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
All the
their
way
own-
then.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
good.
what it
Yeah.
should have been.
Their
Yeah.
own safety department, which will be a contracted service with the health and safety department that we have, but it'll be over and above what they already do for us. So, yeah, policy creation and adoption. Yeah, those types of things.
Also, Omnican for our new cell built here. So we're looking to have our RFP done before December, so we could get a contractor in for the following year.
$2 million. I'm just guessing.
And then we did have our final report with Sonavera. That Evergreen is very strong. We do have to work on our strat planning a little bit with public awareness and consistency of transfer station signs within the members, the commission members, so to speak. What else do I have here? And that organic composting is best situated at Evergreen, just with that we have learned in that final report, just because of the commission members that could maybe possibly start that. Just that organic would be a high cost to get into that, but it would be best there. What else do we have here? And signage on transparency sites. But yeah, that was about it. There's still lots to learn here, so.
Okay, thank you. That's Noel.
Gravel Lakeland, basically they're had a few applications now from neighboring communities to, remember I mentioned about hosting the meetings at different communities, so they've had a few requests come in, so they're working on that. Another thing interesting this session came up is we're talking about people will start mentioning, oh, this person came from England to ride on our trail, and this person came from Australia and that. Anyway, one of the members had made a comment of, well, why would they come to St. Paul? And I said, we have to start changing that. It's why wouldn't you come to St. Paul? You know, and we have to start promoting our area a little bit more on the positives, because we have so many positives in our community, and the lakes, the trails, the little unique shops. And so that discussion took place. It was interesting.
Any questions for, sorry, Councillor Fodness? Any questions for Councillor Fodness? Any questions for Councillor Noel? Okay. Councillor Rosachuk, step meeting. Anybody have questions for Councillor Rosachuk? You sort of had it before, right?
Mhm.
So with Linda's report. Okay.
Yeah, I'll touch on a couple highlights I feel there. So our RS stream there, rural renewal stream, we're stopped at 15 here in the province has asked if there's more available, if we could fill more spots. So one issue, they're not guaranteed, but it seems to be, an area that we might be eligible for more spots. So we kind of decided it might be, we had some questions with housing needs if we allotted more. So we still have some available. We paused it for now. It's been positive, the ones that are renewed again. So just good to know that the province kind of has us on the radar as an area that might be eligible for more. Yeah. So if the need's there. Open farm days were here, so I'm interested to see how things went with that locally. And another kind of local touch with there's some chatter here about Australian beef coming into market here. That's kind of, maybe we're in a beef area here, so that's kind of some concerns from local producers, I think. A little bit of detail about that, but so that's kind of on the radar through staff with local beef producers. Australian beef is good for our market here, so cheaper
Yeah, cheap.
and less grade.
Yeah.
Apparently, so.
All right. Any questions for Councillor Rosachuk? Okay. Mine, you can ask all you want. MD.
So you were building furniture for the MD?
Yeah, you know what, this is complicated here, because you have to pick all the way from the kitchen equipment to the furniture, to the chairs, to the colors. And so, yeah, it's kind of a eye opener. I just thought you just ordered it and you're done. It doesn't work like that. You have to fit it into the space. You have to deal with the clientele that you're dealing with, right? Then you have to say, okay, what do you want for fabric? Do you want fabric? Do you want both fabric and vinyl?
Vinyl, yeah.
And how do you clean, and how does the light reflect off of this to do this? Because there's designers involved. It's not just the plumber saying, yeah, it's good enough. It doesn't work like that. So it is educational, and the build is going ahead. And for those of you who weren't here, the screw piles, I explained them, right?
Yeah.
You auger down, and as you auger back out, you're filling up the center of that auger with concrete. And it goes down and you auger out, the concrete spills out in the middle, and you put rebar down afterwards. So it's called a cap, I believe.
We believe you on the process. We'd just like to see it work.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll ask about the machine. That seems
Yeah,
to be-
because I'm pretty sure when you get a machine that size, whether it works or not, it's collecting hours.
And you know what? As of August 20th, it was working after that.
Yeah, I
Because
think
it was working.
I think it walked from one side of the site to the other side. That's
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, it hasn't been,
So
hasn't
So
been
are
really lately.
Confident that's gonna be done before frost, cause that's gonna.
Yeah,
impact some-
Yeah, they are, yep. They said,
Cost, that would be the biggest.
maximum end of September for piles.
And that auger looks like it's 50 feet.
Oh, it's
Tall,
more than that,
yeah.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
they gotta hit, like you said, virgin turf to,
It's
to.
incredible.
well, it's a pretty amazing piece of equipment. Once it starts going, I'm sure it'll be nice to see. And there's a lot to it. I'm sure there's probably some engineering going on in the background now to match the spec of the concrete to
Yeah,
the,
they did. They had to go through all that process just to okay from one pile to the next. so.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not easy to do either. So.
yeah.
What we're trying to do is to avoid extras. And so every time these guys are masters of extras in the contract stuff. And so we're saying, no, we have this firm that works with us to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Right.
And it's sort of a management firm and they're very good. Colliers is really good. So
just a warranty, would that be similar to like a new home warranty where there's like a 10-year structural thing or?
1 year.
Do we have?
I wouldn't know that. Yeah.
For what, on what, the
Like
building?
major structural building for stuff like this is.
You get 1 year.
The breakdown on that, yeah.
Usually you get one.
Well, for residential, it's mandated 5 years. So
Is it? I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think it's a few
Yeah,
years.
for structural stuff is building envelope and structural stuff, so it changes, so I just didn't know how it applied to the.
Yeah,
It
It has
otherwise,
a warranty.
Yeah, there should be.
yeah, until it falls apart and everybody runs away and they all go out of business. Then you're down to condos that are demolished. So. Anyway, would somebody like to?
I just have one question for you.
Sure.
So just, did you have to like watch Home and Garden like for a certain period of time before you started picking up furniture?
Well, you know what? I'm starting to look at furniture and all this in a different way.
What color is paisley?
How everything
and-
moves around your own kitchen.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
And you know what? This goes sort of related. My daughter made me watch this show called What Not to Wear, Why Women Wear This. And so, worst thing she ever did is get me to do that. Now I critique everything, how they dress and stuff like that. So that's
But I'll make the motion to accept the mayor and council reports as presented.
okay. Thank you. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, we'll move on to 10.1, letter from Secretary Lacombe.
Okay. So I probably don't need to go through the letter again in great detail anyway. This is the exact copy of what we received in early May from the Otipemisiwak Métis government, specifically Secretary of Harvesting and Culture within the Otipemisiwak Métis government, Mr. Grant Lacombe. So we accepted this letter as information. We didn't necessarily provide any direction on what we wanted to do or how we wanted to engage. But my last week or week and a half has been interesting, dealing with numerous news outlets, mainstream news outlets especially, who have chosen to write a story or a version of a story based on the Métis government's perception of the town of St. Paul accepting their letter for information. So, first and foremost, I don't think we're closed off to having any conversations with any level of government, especially one from our First Nations neighbors. So I'm looking for direction from council tonight, how we want to proceed with, not necessarily what specifically is said in the letter with the renaming of our community back to its original, but I think just meeting with representatives from the Métis Nation of Alberta to fully understand the ask and be able to have both parties look each other in the whites of the eyeballs and figure out exactly what it is and discuss past partnerships, future partnerships, and move forward. So I guess I'm looking for council direction tonight. Are you willing to provide me direction to reach out to the Métis government?
I think so. I would be willing to make a motion to give some direction to administration to possibly set up a delegation for at a future date to hear what the Métis Association has to say about like the reasonings and history, and maybe bring us to a little more speed. I know what was brought to us quickly, and we made a motion to accept this information because it was a pretty quick information that was brought to us, kind of last minute. But I'd like to know before we give other further direction to administration to what we do, like, because I know I was kind of expecting that folks would hear about it in the community and kind of say, hey, I'm in favor of a name change, or I'm not in favor. But I haven't had anyone actually, other than the media, kind of bring it back to attention that it's kind of an issue that we're not addressing this as what they would like to see. So I do want to hear more before I can sort of make a kind of a decision. Yeah,
Sure.
Okay, Councillor Ruche?
No, I'm in favor of that.
Okay, Councillor Farnborough?
In favor.
Councillor Rowe?
Yeah, just want to make sure though that we're not going to go with the 15-minute timeline
Oh, no.
type of
It's gonna
process.
be a
Have an
decent
actual meeting
discussion.
with them, yeah.
yeah.
Not a.
But it will be live streamed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, Councillor Rosechuck?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a dialogue we need to open. And I would, are we open to inviting some of our local settlements as well, or any other
No.
local?
No, I think this
local-
is with this letter right here.
Well, I see where you're going with
Yeah.
that, Councilor Rosechuck. I think for the purposes of the receiving the letter and, having to, answer questions to different news outlets, I think we should have the Alberta Métis Nation meet with us as a delegation. But I think as a follow through, there's absolutely opportunities that we can then meet with other settlements and First Nations as well.
Yeah, locally, I think that would have, kind of a,
Yeah, we did have our meeting with Whitefish Lake or Goodfish Lake Cree Nation rescheduled.
Yeah,
There had to be
yeah.
canceled there on, I want to say it was in April. We had some bad weather.
Rain.
Rain.
yeah, so,
Freezing rain, I think. Yeah.
There was that.
yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely, we should be
Okay.
trying to get those meetings established, whether they're here or they're
Yeah.
there, wherever they are.
And local stakeholders in regards to,
Mm.
I mean, this, for you, anyone not aware, this has been kind of 2017, kind of this book started, published 2020. So there's a local group that's invested and passionate and very, very knowledgeable about this topic too. So I think some consultation with them, they've put in hundreds of hours, I heard thousands of hours researching all this stuff. So I think we would owe them, great respect to have them involved with that as well, I think, and with, Métis Nation of Alberta here as well. So I'd be open to that again after that would be
Yep,
secondary. Again,
Sure.
after we,
Yeah, so what you're referring to with the restoring the history of St. Paul de Métis, that's I think created, you might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but only because I know one of the authors, I suppose, was done through the Métis Nation District 12, specifically District 12, I think, right?
correct, it's a local,
Right.
based thing, so.
Whereas the Alberta Nation, the Alberta
Yeah.
Métis government would actually be Alberta as a whole. So,
Province, yeah.
but I think having the Métis Nation as a delegation
Yeah.
can then set the stage for future conversations with District 12, other nations, to make sure that we're all in some sort of alignment with what the ask is.
Well, getting back to what Councillor Russo said, it was passed off as information. What made this letter different from all other letters is it didn't say anything about, it said secretary of the association. It didn't say president, vice president. And so then in our world, it usually would say something like that, where, now, are you writing this? This is where my mind was. Are you representing this, or is there somebody that you're bypassing? So taking it as information is the right thing to do, because I see nothing here that says on behalf of, and I see just the secretary of the Métis Nation. So that's where I was. I thought, well, I don't know you, and so how is a council going to make any kind of decision when you got that letter? So I says, well, I don't think we're wrong in that as information before. And then we got, I think, Ms. Sandmeyer to ask for this as well. So
Right. Yeah, and I think there's been, I think CBC wrote an article, CTV wrote an article, I think APTN wrote an article. Our local media outlets both wrote. So yeah, there's certainly been a lot of attention around it, and the last thing we want to do is to have the wrong narrative be spread throughout the community. So let's have them as a delegation.
Yes. Okay, any other discussion? No? So we have, Commissioner made the motion, all in favor? It's carried, okay. Okay, then we have 11.1, Leica.
And this is just for information, right, Sarah? This is a webinar coming up quick, but August 26th, Leica, which we're now members of, are doing a webinar on blue-green algae and understanding that bacteria.
Okay, so for information.
But free to attend.
Register on your own.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay. Someone want to move it as information? Councilor Ruche? All in favor? It's carried. Okay, you have one thing in closed session, Steve?
I have one thing in closed session. I can't really put a timeline to it. I think we have to, we'll have a good discussion. But I will have Sarah and our director of FCSS present for the conversation.
Okay, so then somebody move into closed session at 9:00 by Councilor Noel. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, you guys got a health break for a few minutes if you need. Okay, we're back in session at 9:36 and I will entertain a motion for
I can
adjournment.
make the motion to
Moved by
adjourn.
Councilor Noel, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you all. Have a good night.